All right, so we're back for part 2 of the central air cleaning series. Now today we're going to be tackling the evaporator coil. I'll explain the tools that we're going to be needing as we go through the video. I'll also put a tool list down in the description. Let's get in there. All right, so if you watch my condenser cleaning, we're on the inside of the house now. This unit does have a furnace. It's a gas furnace right here. So that's where we get our heat from. The air handler is basically the entire unit. On the top here, you'll see where our AC line set comes in from the outside. Our evaporator coil is behind this panel here, and our blower is down on the bottom here. Our filter assembly is right there. This is basically the return line. And then off of the top is where it goes out to all of the registers in the house. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 5/16 nut driver or drill driver. We're gonna remove all of the screws on this panel here. Now, depending on the make and model of your air handling unit, it's gonna be a little bit different. Most of them do use 5/16 screws. So let's get this apart and we'll talk through it a little bit more. So you see on the side of our condensate drain here, most furnaces do have like a service switch on them. Sometimes they'll have a red cover plate on it. You want to shut that off. You also want to shut off your thermostat. If you don't have that service switch, you can always come to your breaker panel, flip off the corresponding breakers that power that air handling unit. Depending on the make and model AC unit that you have, the side plates are going to be a little bit different. These ones right here, looks like we have 8 screws here, and then we need to take off this right side panel also. So just a 5/16 nut driver or a bit in your drill driver. And that gets us to our evaporator coil. You can see our evaporator coil here. It's like an A shape. We also need to remove this side plate right here, and then we need to remove this center piece right here with the 5/16 screws, and that's going to allow us to get inside and remove any debris or dirt that's stuck on the inside of these coils. I would also suggest, like, don't really mess around with this stuff and bend things out of the way. So we have all of our screws out. We're going to remove this plate now. You're going to have to probably pull it over the top of these pipes on the side and figure out how to wedge it up through here to get this out. Just be careful you don't kink or damage any of these tubes, because if you do, you're going to have a technician come out. So as soon as we get this raised up enough, I can pop that out, slide it to the side, and open it up. Now we're actually not too bad in here. There definitely is some gunk on the evap coil here, so we're going to go through how to clean this up now. Closer view here. Here's the outside. So this is a plate fin style. We'll look at the inside here, and you can see all this gunk in here. Definitely needs to be cleaned out. It's pretty nasty, right? We're probably breathing a lot of this stuff in, which is disgusting. Here's our burner here. So we want to make sure we don't get things too wet down in here when we go to clean. But what you want to do first before we even use the spray cleaner and wet this stuff down is you want to pick this stuff out. Now there's a couple ways you can do that. You can just pick stuff out with your hand, or you can use a fin straightening tool that actually will get in there really well and help to pick that stuff out. Now this is what a fin straightening tool looks like. It's basically just a bunch of little wires in here. The cool thing about it is it can actually fit all the way up into the peak of that A shape and pick some of that garbage out of there. We're gonna take this, and you'll see these little fingers on this tool fit right in there, and that's going to allow us to basically just kind of come in here, pick a lot of this stuff out. Now, because this evaporator coil is mounted on top of our heating unit, all of the air for the heat and for the AC, so when the blower is running and it's going across our heat exchanger in here to blow hot air into the system in the wintertime, that air actually has to travel through our evap coil. Even though we may not be using the evap coil for cooling, it's still in the loop of the system, so we want to make sure this is clean year round. All right, we got a little bit better light up in here now, but you can see how the stuff is kind of up in the apex of this, like right up in the middle. And this fin comb really helps to be able to get all the way up right in there and dig that stuff out. So I'm basically just kind of digging it out with the vacuum hose below it so it's not falling down into the burner box. But we got the left side pretty much all picked off, and we're gonna hit the right side next, and then we'll go into how to use the foam spray cleaner. So we got most of the big stuff off now. The reason why you want to clean the debris off first is if that debris gets wet, it's just going to get stuck in those fins and make it harder to clean out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our foaming cleaner, we're going to spray the inside, and we're going to spray the outside. We're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. All right, now as far as cleaners, there's a bunch of different brands out there. The one that I ended up picking up and the one I used on my condenser outside was this foaming AC condenser and evap coil cleaner from Simple Green. It comes in an aerosol can or in a spray bottle. They're both exactly the same. I find with this right here, it actually squirts into the plates a little bit better. So you get a little bit better penetration into those coils to help break up any dirt that may be inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray this down now. We're gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then we'll take a spray bottle with just water. We'll rinse it down a little bit. Now, this stuff does say self-rinsing on it, so the condensation on the coils will help actually rinse some of that dirt down into the condensate drain. So you can just kind of spray it, let it sit, put everything back together, and run the system, and you should be good. But we're gonna try to rinse it out, see if we can get a little extra. Because I wanna spray the inside of the coil to get this as clean as possible, I'm actually going to take some pieces of cardboard and we're gonna stick this on top of the burner tubes down inside, and that's just gonna keep any gunk from getting down inside of there. I'll show you what this looks like a little up close here, but super, super, super important. Make sure you remove these when you're done, because if you turn this thing on to heat and those burner tubes get hot and there's cardboard on here, you're gonna have a fire. So make sure you remove that before anything else, before you put any of these covers on. Other cool thing that this allows me to do is to put some work lights down inside of here on top of that cardboard. We're gonna take our cleaner and we're gonna spray from the top down. The only bad thing about the pump, your finger gets tired after spraying this for a while. So also when you're rinsing it, you want to rinse it from the top down. And that's so any dirt that is getting rinsed out just follows all the way down to the bottom. You don't want to rinse the bottom off, get it cleaned, and then rinse the top and then have all that dirt go back into the bottom that you just cleaned, right? Makes sense. So we're going to spray the right side here with this, and then I'm going to show you how the foaming aerosol can works on the other side. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go on the back side of this, because these coils go all the way through. I'm going to spray the back side too. Now I'm going to show you actually on the same side with this foaming cleaner, because the walls here, and I can't really get a camera angle on the left side, but this is basically the same. You're basically spray painting it on. This I find is a lot easier to use, honestly, and you get more even coverage. All right, so we're going to hit the left side. You're not going to be able to see it, unfortunately, because of the camera angle, but it's the same thing. And now this cardboard that I put down here is just going to prevent those burner tubes from getting all wet. All right, and then I'm going to actually get the back here. Now there's no debris on the back because all the air is being forced through the inside of this evap coil, so any contaminants, particulates, and stuff that aren't captured by your air filter are going to end up in here, and that's why we clean this. So if you one of the people that forgets to change their AC filter or furnace filter often, you know, every 30, 60, 90 days or whatever, like I do sometimes, it's easy to forget, you're gonna end up with a dirty evap coil. So that's why it's important to check this out at least every year, or if you're not comfortable doing this yourself, definitely have an HVAC technician come out and do this cleaning. But like I said, you're gonna save a ton of money by doing this yourself. It's very, very easy to do. We're gonna let this sit. What I'm gonna do is any kind of moldy looking stuff, I'm gonna take some paper towels, I'm gonna wipe this off while this is soaking into the plates here. And I'm gonna show you an easy way to kind of rinse this off if you want to rinse it off and not just let it use the self-rinsing feature of the cleaner. I have a spray bottle with just some water in it here, and we can actually use that if you're not comfortable with that self-rinsing kind of feature of this spray foaming cleaner. You can just spray the coils, let that stuff run down into the condensate drain, and we can spray from this side. It's basically going to drip straight down and into the plastic pan that's around here and then out through the condensate drain. So if you don't want to wait for the self-rinsing formula to kind of activate, or if you think you can get it a little bit cleaner doing it this way, definitely give it a try. Don't use a hose though. So we can rinse it from this side, we can rinse it from the other side also. I'm gonna hit the left side. Now, I want to show you one little added step that I like to do, especially if your condensate pan's kind of grubby looking. I'll just spray some of that cleaner in here. Just take like a chip brush, and we can use that brush to kind of mix around any gunk that's sitting in here. Now your pan should be kind of tilted to one side anyway, so everything drains out. All right, at this point, everything is clean in here. We're gonna wipe down any overspray we have from the spray cleaner, make sure all that's dry. Don't worry about any water or anything on these coil or any of the piping for the coils, because that's just gonna reappear once the system starts running again and the refrigerant starts flowing through these lines. We're gonna pull any tools, work lights out. Like I mentioned, you don't wanna leave anything in there. It's a fire hazard if it is a furnace, especially this cardboard. You can see it got pretty wet here, but it kept all of that junk from getting down into the burner box, which is nice. So let's put our cover back in. And also be careful with this because these sheet metal pieces tend to be pretty sharp. All right, we're gonna put our side panel in. So the side panel's all tightened up. We're gonna put our main cover on now. And we'll be ready to fire this up. After you have everything buttoned up, make sure that if you haven't changed your air filter yet, that you do so. Make sure you're using a high quality air filter with a high MERV rating. So MERV is the MERV rating. You want to make sure that you have a higher number. So the higher the MERV rating, the more fine particles that it's going to remove from your air system. This is the old one. This is the new one. See the difference in the color here? So this one's definitely a lot cleaner. So I forget what MERV rating this is. It's on the higher end. They do cost more money, unfortunately, but you're gonna make up for that with, you know, less particulates and allergens in your air system and coming out of your air registers and into your house. So if you have bad allergies, definitely consider buying the higher end filters. So our power's on, our thermostat is on now. We can flip our service switch. And you'll hear our air handler kick on. You can actually hear refrigerant already flowing through the line from the compressor, from the condenser outside. We'll give it a little bit. We'll check on it. Should be good to go. All right, guys, so hopefully this helped you out. If you had any questions or if you were wondering how to clean the evap coil in your central air system by yourself and save a bunch of money, I'm here to save you guys money. That wraps it up for this video. If you found it useful and this helped you out, please like and consider subscribing, checking out my other DIY content. If you're interested in learning how to clean your AC condenser on the outside of your house, check out this video here. See you in the next video.